Hello and welcome back to the RotoWire Fantasy Soccer Podcast. My name is Andrew Laird, Senior Soccer Editor of RotoWire. Joined on this Friday, February 26th by Jordan Cooper to talk about Saturday's three-game slate. I had to pry Jordan away from the NBA Top Shot queue to film this. So thankfully, hopefully we can get through it before he, the packs drop or whatever the term is. But
I'm
Jordan,
not online. You're joking. I'm not online. I'm a no-momenter.
Jordan, this Saturday slate feels like a Jordan Cooper slate.
Yes. It's 6 horrible teams, and you got all the horrible people to choose from that you look at their prices and go, I guess I'm paying that price for them.
Yeah.
Because you can, I guess. I think the pricing on the slate is fair for. I think you could build good lineups. So I don't mind these prices for the slate, but I mean the slate is obviously it's an all day. It's 3 separate games, and they're all close games. Like the biggest favorite is currently Brighton, who are a -103 away favorite to West Brom, low total 2.25. Then we got Leeds are +124 current favorites at home to Aston Villa. They didn't open as favorites, but Grealish is out, so like that. To me, I view Grealish on Aston Villa very similar to like Zaha and Crystal Palace. Yeah, that Aston Villa is not the same team without him.
They're just toast.
Right. So that's a 3 total. And then we got Wolves are a +136 current favorite on the road to Newcastle, and that's a 2.25 total. So it's like low total games, pretty bad teams. We have one expensive player that is not going to be playing, so you don't have to worry about that. Because I think it would actually have been a much more interesting slate if he was on, because now you have to start making hard choices. I still think you do have to make some hard choices.
I think you'll find making lineups easy, but I think there are going to be multiple lineups that you like. And so it's just a matter of who you end up not playing that you would like to play, but you either just can't fit or fit meaning from a positional standpoint, not so much a salary standpoint.
Right. I know we started forward, but I think the most important question on the slate is at midfield.
There are a lot of them.
I think the question on your lineup construction comes down to, are you going to play Pereira at 9,000? Because I'm not sure, because we have the guys that are 9K or above that we do want to play, and several of them are forward eligible.
Yeah.
And I think there's more cheap value. We get into some situation, as always, where 5K, 6K forwards just don't exist for floors.
Yep.
And midfield, they do.
Yeah.
So taking up a 9K spot with Pereira in the midfield almost seems like the opportunity cost. You'd rather have 2 expensive forwards than prioritize Pereira, especially with West Brom being I call them the biggest underdog on the slate, but it's not like they're drastic. None of these teams are drastic underdogs. It's not like a Man City, Liverpool type of thing where it's like I can't possibly play anyone from the team against them.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about the Pereira discussion is that you have the same thought if Grealish was in.
Right.
But I think you're much more likely to play Grealish than Pereira, even though Pereira has been awesome recently.
Yeah, and I haven't been playing him most of the time. Right, so 9K to me is like, okay, just not going to play Pereira again. But I think optimally, I think that's the correct decision.
To not play him?
To not play him because of the forwards. Because I'm looking up top at forward. We have Rafinha at 10.7, Neto at 9,500, and Pascal Gross at 9,300. And with the opportunity cost at forward, and like not really, we're going to get down to the bottom end of forward and not going to find anyone. I think I'd just rather play 2 of these guys.
I agree.
And I have no problem playing 10.7 for Rafinha.
I was going to say, I think Neto is the worst of those 3.
I would agree with you, but I don't think he's substantially the worst.
Nope.
If I'd rather play Pereira over Neto.
Yes.
And I think I'd almost rather play, like if Pereira was forward eligible, I'm more likely to play. I'm more likely to do something like Rafinha Pereira.
I think you 100% play him if he's forward eligible.
Right, and you play him over Gross.
I think so.
Right. So like it's so just to get it straight, it's not that I'm anti Matthias Pereira. It's just that I want two 9K plus forwards this slate. Although there are options a little bit cheaper, but I just don't think it's necessary to do that because obviously we have Trossard at 8,500. It's a hard case when 800 more gets you Gross, and then you also have like the Traores, Bertrand on Aston Villa, and Adama on Wolves. But at 7,200 and 7,400, a lack of set pieces, or even like El Ghazi if he starts, it just doesn't. It seems like I'm overpaying. Like if I'm going to pay that much for a forward, I just might as well go up to the 9K range.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think you could play one of those guys if you're playing Pereira in the midfield. So like I can see a lineup where you're playing Gross plus Adama Traore.
Yep.
And then playing Pereira, but you're not getting up to Rafinha. Like you're doing that. So you could have so you're still not going down at forward all the way to who knows who. But you're still saving like 2K at forward. The problem is that where you're putting that 2K, because when we get to defender, like I'm not sure if there's anything even point of even paying for any defenders.
The defender pricing, we'll get to it in a little bit, but like if they had made everybody 3,500, like literally everybody, I think that would have been fine too.
Right, that would have been right. That would have been exactly. We're gonna get there, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but like you said, I don't think there's any benefit to like Almiron or ASM. Who are like slightly like those guys are close enough to the Traores that you just play them, and we were saying like I don't see the benefit in playing those guys, and even lower like there's just nothing there for me.
Roberts, me, if Costa's in, I don't mind that at 5,500. But right, I know. Jahan Bosch if he got the start or something, 4,800.
No.
Yeah, but there's no one down here. That's the problem. Even Carlin Grant doesn't even start anymore, so you don't even have that.
Yeah, I think, obviously for tournaments you can do whatever you want, and there are random, they're not even good, like, goal odds down here. Like,
there's not good goal odds on the slate in
Well,
general.
that's true, too.
That's why I take a look at, like, Bamford is plus 125 to score. Does that make him worth 8,800? Not to me. People will play him.
He has a decent floor.
Yeah, but why don't I just play Jose?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Right. To me, he's the best price for the goal odds.
Yeah.
He's plus 235 and he's 5,400. So like if you want to do that, but to me that's still a GPP.
I was like plus 235 isn't that good either.
Yeah, right. But in comparison to other, plus 175 is Ollie Watkins, and he's 7,100.
Yeah. Yep.
Malpai is plus 148, and he's 7,500. So, I don't want to pay goal-dependent prices like these.
Agreed. Yeah.
I say that, and Bamford's going to score a hat trick, so it's going to end up happening.
Yeah, but that's not going to kill you
owned in cash for no reason.
No, I don't think he's going to.
I see that all the time, Andrew. People playing Patrick Bamford against me. I beat them most of the time because he has Bamford. Bamford is coming close to being the Premier League version of Edison Cavani. A lot of times it's like he played the whole game and he has negative 0.44 points. I'm like, how is that possible?
Yeah. Do you go into midfield? Do you definitely play Ross Barkley?
How do you not? He's 5,900. I know he's Ross Barkley. No Grealish and a monopoly of set pieces. To me, why? Is he a lock and load or whatever? He probably won't play 90. He's out of form. He's not a good player. Clear. He's not a good player. But with no Grealish, why wouldn't? I'm looking in that range. We skipped over a lot. To me, I go from Pereira, and then it's just it's a drop to 6K. Because we don't expect Ryan Frazier to even be in.
That's the last game, too, which is really a bummer.
7,300. Harrison at 7,000. He may not even start. I think Ruben Neves at 6,600 is a crime against humanity. Why? Why is he 6,600?
He's been scoring some goals.
Right. Veltman is the defender, and then Dallas, no. So now you're getting into basically my range.
Jordan's range, yeah.
Where I play too much and I end up with only 3 points.
Except one of my guys is in here. He's not going to start anyway, but
no, but I think you're totally in this. I mean, there are multiple guys. I think in this range, you got Barkley at 5,900. You got Matinho at 5,700. You got, if Matt Ritchie starts at 5,600, you got Matt Phillips, if he starts at 5,200. Even McAllister at 5,300 ain't bad. Shelby at 5,100. Even like guys like Conor Gallagher and John McGinn and Robert Snodgrass in the 4K range, like as a last piece type of thing. Willock at 4,000. I mean, I just think there's a lot. Why am I playing Pereira and playing Adama Traore or one of the Traores at 7K just so I could get a 9K midfielder when I think I could just play 3 of these guys? And I think you're playing 3 because I don't think you're playing 3 defenders on this slate.
No. I totally agree on all of that. I find it funny that you didn't put Shelby like firmly ahead of the other guys.
Well, I was just going in salary order.
Yeah, but you like, okay, that's fair. But like, I think
he's reading it up in salary. I was just going by salary.
He's far and away. Like, I think he's better than all of the guys you said. I know you said them like in salary, and he's the cheapest. Like, right. I play him over Phillips, McAllister, Ritchie, Matinho.
Phillips is out. So Phillips is out. You don't have to worry about him.
No, Matt Phillips.
Oh, Matt Phillips. Oh, I was thinking about Calvin Phillips.
Sorry, no, Matt.
Oh no, I would put Barkley and Shelby together. To me, that would be 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Knowing me, you would think I would put Matinho.
I was going to say, Matinho gives us the benefit of, like, he's almost like a little bit of a hedge of not playing Neto.
Right.
Because, like, we're playing Neto for set pieces, and he doesn't get all of them. Matinho gets some, and so we at least have the benefit there.
The Wolves-Newcastle game is the late game.
Yes.
Okay? I'm just gonna assume that there's no situation where Shelby doesn't start.
I wouldn't think so.
Right, and then Wolves has a predictable lineup, so I'm just talking about, like, I'm more willing to, like, not play Matt Phillips like in the first game or McAllister. Like, if I could play Barkley and Shelby, like, I'd rather just not I'd rather, like, a better way to put it is, like, if I'm going to choose 2 guys, I'd rather no more than 1 be from the first game.
Yeah, I see no reason. Like, I think there's only 1 guy worth playing. I mean, it's really 2. Gross and Pereira are the ones that are worth playing in that first game. We already talked about what we think about Pereira, but both of them. But if I can leave myself more flexibility for later and not have any drop-off, which I don't consider anyone in the next 2 games a drop-off from a Brighton West Brom game, then give me the flexibility. The only reason to play more guys from that first game is so you don't have to work a full 9 to 5.
You still, at some point, you're not going to stack the whole. I mean, you're going to still have to play guys from the other games.
Yeah.
At least one of them, right?
Yeah.
You have to play 3 teams. Is there anyone really cheap that's playable? Alzate, maybe. I mean, now it almost seems like you don't have to go down here. Maitland-Niles. These guys don't do anything.
You're only playing them for the salary flexibility.
Right. At one point, I do want to play a guy named OK.
Who?
OK?
Oh,
Yokosulu?
Yeah, he's a
whatever his name is.
Defensive midfielder, though. He's like you got to go to FanDuel to play him.
Right. But I just we have Easy E and we have OK. He's OK.
Okay.
I want to say, can I play OK? Like, he's OK.
Yeah, I mean, like, Diangana's basically dead now.
Right. I mean, he was on the bench last game, so I mean.
I just mean, like, fantasy-wise, he's not doing anything.
Well, yeah, he hasn't played in a month.
But even, like, before he was...
No, he was okay. I mean, he was okay. He was I
think Trezeguet 4,300 is pretty cheap if he starts. That's a middle game.
Right. And then when we get down to a defender, I just want to highlight with the start times. I think I prioritize, like, if I'm going to start making 2v2s and stuff like that, I prioritize the later games.
Oh, yeah.
So even when it comes to defenders, like defender-wise, like, they're priced fine. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
they're
I just
fine.
thought, like, they're priced, it's just, what am I getting? Why am I paying the $4,900 for Target? Like, am I getting, because Cash is out, Lamptey is questionable.
Yeah, like El Mohammadi should start. I actually always love him, but the center backs show up very quickly.
Yes.
Like, you're playing 4,600 for El Mohammadi, but like Liam Cooper is the first center back and he's 44. Lewis Dunk 43. Like, if you're gonna play like a cheap guy, or like if you're gonna like go for a random center back, my God, why do we have to pay 4,200 for him?
Right, just play Lascelles at 2,500.
Exactly.
Just call it a day.
Right.
Right? Or Konsa at 2,600. Like, why? I'm looking at, like, maybe Newcastle starts because Manquillo's out and start Emil Kraft at 3,000. But, like, what makes him any better than any of the center backs? Right?
That's what I was saying. Like, I'd rather just, take the salary savings.
Yeah, but I mean, he's at least he's 3,000.
Yeah. Give me the extra 500.
Right. Or like Struck on Leeds, because he's technically not even he's a defensive midfielder.
I guess.
Right? But I mean, to me, I think you're most likely maybe playing for one of them in this 4K range, and then like punting. Like, I could totally see, like, you play El Mohammadi and then you play Lascelles, or some whatever random center back you want. And even then, you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
Depends on your lineup construction.
The difficulty is that if you have El Mohammadi and a center back, playing two center backs doesn't get you from that Matinho range up to Pereira.
Right.
So it's just not even worth trying to figure that out.
Doing, because you'd be playing in your you'd be playing Adama Traore, one of the Traores in your utility by doing that, and then it defeats the purpose. So why not secure some more points at defender rather than getting stuck with 2 and 2 or something like that? So that's why I looked at. I said El Mohammadi, but if you wanted to play Furlong, if you wanted to play one of the Wolves fullbacks, if you want to play Alioski, if he is a fullback in the game, they're all like, you can just put them in a hat and pick whichever one you want.
Yeah.
But I'm more likely to not play a West Brom or Brighton fullback in that scenario because they're all the same. So I would rather get more information later in the day and just, you never know what's going to show up.
Exactly.
Or at least I have 2v2s where it's like, well, I'm behind. I didn't play Gross, and Gross ends up being 65% owned, and he has 26 points, and I don't have him, and now I can make more decision swaps like that.
Yep.
But they're all the same. Like the targets, Semedo, Eiling, Alt-Nuri, Al-Muhammad, I mean, Furlong, all these guys, outside of the center backs.
So basically that came up in our Discord last weekend, I think it was, where somebody was talking about trying to pick one of 3 defenders. And they all basically were the same. And they were like, well, do you have a lean? And I'm like, they're the same. Like, the actual decision doesn't matter. Like,
flip a coin.
It literally flip a coin. Because, right. And they were like, yeah, but, and I'm like, you can look at everything you want, and these guys are exactly the same. And like, if you pick one, it has no effect on the outcome. If you pick the other, like, it doesn't matter. And that's like one of the hardest things to try to explain to somebody in DFS, that like sometimes you are up against decisions that like it doesn't matter.
Sometimes you're
you're right. A lot of times.
That's play whoever you want. That is what I mean when it comes down to it. People spend an hour on a decision like that of okay, I need to play. I'm either going to play Jamal Lascelles or Constant Ngoyo or Connor Cody.
Yeah.
Which one should I play? Don't even anything more than 2 seconds of time that you just spent on that was a waste. And just whatever. Just you have 2,700. There you go. It's Cody. You're done.
The worst part is when Konsa finishes with one extra completed pass, and you pick the other guy and you're like, oh, I knew I should have gone Konsa. And it's like, no, that's not how it works.
Other than you tend to pick the wrong center back that scores the goal, right?
Right. The guy I don't, and my guy got a red card last week. 2 weeks ago, it was the other one scored, and then last week was the red card.
So people would say that it does matter.
Right.
Well, it's one of those things like goalkeeper. It matters a great deal in the result, but matters very little in the process.
Right. And I think like that's the difficult thing to grasp for a lot of people is that the decision you made has nothing to do with the result, and B, the result should have nothing to do with the process for the next time.
Right. So goalkeeper.
Yeah, you paying up? What is the salary
left?
difference, top to bottom?
I mean, Johnstone, obviously, it's, home keeper, whatever.
1,200.
But I mean, I may still want optionality. I may, the Darlow. What's wrong with Darlow? If I'm not going to play Neto, and I may not play Matinho, I may not have any Wolves players, and I just play Darlow. And there you go.
This is the part of the podcast where we justify all of them.
Right.
So, yes, sure. Darlow, yeah. And you can play Gross with Johnstone, and, you can play Emi Martinez because he's not that expensive, and maybe Villa plays a little more defensively. Grealish is out, so Meslier is fine, but if you're going to pay $5,000, you may as well pay up for $5,200 for Patricio, but if you're going to do that, just pay it for Sanchez, who's the biggest favorite on the slate.
And he's not that big of a favorite.
No. But also, if you have Sanchez and you're like, no, I need more salary, you get the $1,200 savings for Johnstone and then realize it doesn't matter anywhere else.
Right.
Because you still can't get up to Pereira, and Traore still can't become Rafinha or whatever it is, and so you just go back.
Right.
Or now you're playing...
The $1,200 gets you from Jamal Lascelles up to a $3,700 center.
Right, to Ben White. Right. Awesome.
Right. Right. Thanks for what? What did I get? I get nothing, right? It doesn't matter.
Right.
But I'd still rather have the home. I mean, by default, home keeper.
Sure. For the biggest underdog? Oh, Darlow is, not Darlow.
Yeah, but also, and the optionality, if West Brom Brighton was the last game, I wouldn't mind then I would think Johnstone. It's more the fact of, since goalkeeper doesn't matter that much, I want to give myself, if that Leeds Aston Villa lineup comes out in a way where I can move some stuff, and then I can move up Darlow to Meslier for whatever reason. It's just I have the money, I could do it, and I'm not stuck in a spot. And then what ends up happening is that Johnstone puts up 24 points, and then you're behind. And he's 47% owned, and you start cursing the wind. Yeah, you're right. I know, Andrew. Goalkeeper doesn't matter until it matters.
No, it always matters.
Right, it always matters.
Yeah. Goalkeeper process
doesn't matter.
Yeah, goalkeeper process does not matter. Goalkeeper results matter more than anything else on the slate.
Right. How dumb is this game? And we've been playing it for 5.5 years. It was like this even with the old scoring. They've never changed the goalkeeper scoring.
No.
Ever. They've changed the outfield player scoring, but not the goalkeeper scoring.
Right. And we'd all go back to the old outfield scoring too.
I'd go to you give me those 11-man. Go give me the 11-man lineups and the 1-point crosses.
Would you go back to 11-man lineups and 1-point crosses if it was actually 10-man and 2 goalkeeper?
Yes. I'd do that. Then 3. I'd pick all the goalkeepers at that point.
Right.
Those were the days. Those were such the days. I mean, that's where my whole mentality comes from. Okay, you take a look at the slate. This is the old school. If you didn't play DraftKings soccer back then, here's the thought. Here's your strategy thought process. Act like goals just don't exist. Right? Because the guy that scores 2 goals gets outscored by the set piece taker.
Yeah.
That has no goals or no assists.
Yeah.
Because no matter what league you're, I remember winning that MLS contest. I don't think I had a single goddamn goal in my lineup. But they mispriced guys on different teams. And I'm just taking all the set piece takers, and Diego Valeri has 38
points
floor points without a goal or an assist. With none. 21 crosses and 7 shots.
Yeah.
And then you take someone else and he's 4,500 and he gets you 24 points with nothing. And the team wins 2-0. He was not involved in any of the goals, and he's the highest scorer on the team.
Yep.
And then you got, obviously you played against weaker players that are like, I need to find the goals. And I'm like the Matrix with the spoon. Like, there are no goals. Just play that way. That's why Andrew, but that's why you call this a Jordan Cooper slate.
Yes.
Right? It's low totals, crappy teams.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay. If you want to try to run me down with Patrick Bamford, I welcome the head-to-heads.
Yeah, Bamford and Malpai and
Watkins, right? You
Ollie
play
Watkins,
those.
yeah.
Right. Feel free to make that lineup and play me in head-to-head.
Well, I think there are probably people who are looking at the odds, thinking if there are not that many goals, I need to make sure I get them.
Well, in GPP, I understand that.
Sure.
But not in cash games. You could get 12 points. 12 points is a goal-scoring play from a play. You could look at the players that we all mentioned. Rafinha could get 12 easily without a goal and assist.
Yep.
Right? It's much easier for him to get 12 than for you to find the person that scored the goal. Yeah, Bamford is the most likely to score on Leeds. But he's 8,800, so if he doesn't get that goal, I mean, what does he end up with? Nothing. He barely gets anything.
Yep.
But that's all in. You could find all that type of general DFS stalker strategy. I know, Andrew, you have a page. I reference it all the time when people ask me, because you had like the daily fantasy soccer strategies and tip page, and it's like it's like 19 hours of podcasts.
It's a lot.
And it's a lot from like 3 years ago. And we mentioned a lot of players that we don't play anymore. Because you could picture the days back where it's like, okay, all I need to do is plug in Willian, Dimitri Payet, and Gylfi Sigurdsson on Swansea.
Yep.
When they were horrible. And you just print. Right?
Yep.
You just print fest. Who cares about Top Shot's hot drop packs? Well, you can just roster all the set piece takers and just print. Why not do it?
Yeah, simple as that. All right,
still get screwed on goalkeeper. You'll still get screwed. I would still get screwed on goalkeeper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's hardly a new thing. If you guys any follow up for Jordan, you can find him on Twitter at Blenderhead. That's BlenderHD. You can also find all of his stuff at theoryofdfs.com, as well as youtube.com/Jordan Cooper. There's plenty of Jordan there if you would like it. You can find me on Twitter at RotoWire Andrew, also available in the RotoWire Discord, which is open for all subscribers. Just go to rotowire.com/chat to get in there. If you are not a subscriber and want to try us out, you can do so at rotowire.com/pod. That's POD. Gets you 10 free days to the site, no credit card required, access to all the sports we cover, as well as that Discord chat. Jordan, thank you for that. Good luck on Saturday.